The Second World War has ended, but in its place, the Cold War rages on. The United States and Russia are strategically competing against each other in almost every facet, and there's always the concern that there is a Russian spy hiding in plain sight. A mysterious sea creature is brought to an American research facility for testing and examination, and with it, a new head of security to ensure that the asset remains in place and does not fall into Russian hands. Does The Shape of Water deliver on a spy meets romance meets monster movie? Or are we going to need to pour this film into the bowl and flush? Let's dive in and take a look in this review. Guillermo del Toro steps back into the writing and directing chair to deliver a story that is equally nuanced, layered, complex, and believable. For the unique and stylized world this film lives in, the fact that Guillermo del Toro was able to make this film and the worlds and the characters feel as real as they do really speaks to the level of talent that he has as a filmmaker and storyteller. It also shows us the magnificent ability that he as a director has, where he is able to actually pull out the realest and truest emotions from his actors portraying the characters in his stories, so that when we're sitting in the theater, we are fully immersed in this world that he has created for us for the limited time that we're in the theater to enjoy it. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the story, the basic premise is a mysterious sea creature is found and then is brought back to the United States and put in a testing facility for examination and testing. And while in confinement, 2 of the janitorial staff are made aware of its presence in the research facility, and one of the janitorial staff, Eliza, played by Sally Hawkins, really takes to this creature in a very unique way that I was not prepared for on the big screen. Her and the creature develop this relationship over the course of the film that all begins with the simple act of dropping off an egg during her lunch break. However, not everybody is as keen on this monster as she is. We have the head of security who is actually trying to maintain it in the facility by doing very aggressive tests on it. We have a scientist who's trying to study it and learn all we can about it as we are looking at sending different creatures and animals into space. And we have a 5-star general whose sole purpose in this film seems to be containment of the asset so that it does not fall into Russian hands. Plus, we have Eliza's neighbor who actually helps her in her personal day-to-day life, as well as shares time with her to show a real human connection. And we also have her partner in the janitorial staff, played by Octavia Spencer, who delivers a very believable and realistic talkative counter to her mute existence in this film. This film really just peels back layer after layer very slowly so that we get a full sense of who every character in this film is, their motivation, and what they bring to the overall story and plot, showing us that this film was made with incredible attention to detail and care. And because this film was written so brilliantly, there is an opportunity after the film concludes to sit down with whoever you saw the film with, whether it's your friend or a group of people, and have a full-on conversation about the movie and really dissect the characters so that you can say and you can determine who is the real villain in this film. Because nothing in this movie is exactly black and white. It's very nuanced. The characters are layered, and there's a lot of gray area that the characters gets to dance in, which really opens up the door for conversation. So if you're able to articulate your feelings about who the antagonist is in this film, as well as this film is written to make you think about who the antagonist could be, I guarantee it will provide an opportunity for some real open discussion about film right after you leave the theater. And this movie review wouldn't be complete if I didn't at least bring up the creature or asset that we meet in this film. Truth be told, it does resemble the creature from the Black Lagoon very, very much. In fact, even its origin, as described in this movie, harkens back to the original Creature from the Black Lagoon movie, the black and white from 1954. However, much to my surprise, there was a very innovative and fresh approach that was brought to this creature for this film. This was not just a rehashing of a character we've known about for decades and generations. This is a brand new spin on a character that we have been familiar with for so long. To see Eliza connecting with the creature and communicating with the creature, but not being able to speak with so much raw emotion and vulnerability and strength and fear and joy was absolutely one of the highlights for this film. She did a phenomenal job in her role, and I would not be surprised if we see her name on the ballot come Oscar season. She delivers all of her moments so beautifully, and I'm happy to report that all of the characters that are on screen with her and sharing screen time do exactly the same, but in their particular way for their particular character. The Shape of Water is playing at your local movie theater right now, and I am definitely recommending a big screen viewing for this film. This is an incredibly well-told, beautifully constructive story about a monster who brings out the best and arguably the worst in the people that it comes in contact with during this film. This film does take some chances, and it gives the audience, like myself and like you, a lot of credit for our ability to intellectually process what is going on the big screen for the entirety of the film. It asks us to suspend reality for just a moment and really just immerse ourselves in the story, the characters, and explore with them this adventure with this new mysterious creature from the sea. That being said, there are a few moments in this movie that might make your head turn just a little bit to the side and go, huh? Because again, this film does deal with a monster and humanity and the relationships that can spark between the characters in this film. But by the end of the film, each of those moments is understandable and believable because of the incredible journey that we go on with these characters, because of how well written the story is, how well it's shaped and directed. The cinematography in this is gorgeous, and all of the characters on screen deliver on such a real, raw, emotional performance that just sucks you into the big screen and just holds your attention from start to finish. And because of that, The Shape of Water is not getting one high five. The Shape of Water is not getting two high fives. The Shape of Water is getting all the high fives. The Shape of Water is playing at your local movie theater right now. Check it out.